Alright, so today is my birthday, and I started this last year where on my birthday I went through my entire Blu-ray collection and showed it off to you guys, kind of to celebrate. So without further ado, here's my entire Blu-ray collection video of 2022. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben, and on this channel I love to talk about movies and TV, and if you also love to talk about movies and TV, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. If you're new to these kinds of videos, basically I'm just going to go through my entire Blu-ray collection, show you off all the movies. I won't give thoughts on each and every single one of them, or else we would be here for a very long time, but I will touch on some of the movies here and there. But before we get into this, make sure to comment down below and let me know, are there any movies that you think I should pick up or check out and maybe add to the collection? I'm always interested in hearing your recommendations, and let's get started. First up, we have 12 Angry Men, one of my favorite movies. 1917 on 4K. 21 and 22 Jump Street. 50-50, a very depressing movie. 50 First Dates. And 500 Days of Summer. Then we have one of my all-time favorites, About Time with Rachel McAdams, who I love. Highly recommend this one, it's very underrated. Then we have American Psycho with Christian Bale. Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't have Avengers and the other Avengers movie, which I'll talk about in a second, on Blu-ray, but I do plan on picking them up, obviously. And then we have Avengers Endgame, so Avengers Infinity Wars, but I don't have. I would like to get that on 4K one day. The Alfred Hitchcock collection, which has Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and The Birds. I've only seen Psycho, but I plan on digging into this box set one day. Then we have getting into the Bees, Birds of Prey, with this very nice slipcover. Another one of the few movies I own in the Criterion collection, The Breakfast Club. Batman from 1989 with Michael Keaton. The Batman, one of my favorite movies of this year, if not my favorite movie of the year. It's like top 5. Then we have a double feature with Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Baby Driver. I definitely want to rewatch this one soon. I'll just have to find time for it. And then we have one of the more overrated movies. I think this is one of the most overrated movies ever. I just don't find it funny. The Big Lebowski. Maybe one day I'll rewatch it. I don't really know why I own it. I bought it before I watched it, and then when I watched it, I was like, ooh, I kind of regret this. Another incredibly underrated movie, Blind Spotting. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the 2010s. Not enough people are talking about it. Do yourself a favor and watch this movie. Then we have Blinded by the Light, another underrated movie. It has a lot to do with Bruce Springsteen, and if you haven't heard of this movie and you're a fan of Bruce Springsteen, definitely recommend this one. And we have the Back to the Future trilogy set on 4K. Love the original Back to the Future. Actually, I have not watched the 4K transfer yet. Gotta watch it soon. And then we have a new addition to the collection. I'm not gonna do a Blu-ray haul for this month, but I got Bohemian Rhapsody from Disney Movie Rewards. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically you like put your digital codes in for every time you get a movie. So let's say I put the digital code in for Bohemian Rhapsody, I can get it and then get points, then save up my points and get free stuff like this. Free movies, you can get Funko Pops, posters, stuff like that. Creed, very much so looking forward to this third movie coming very soon. Actually just got delayed, but I'm still looking forward to it. And then Chronicle. Alright, second shelf, let's start going. Captain America Civil War with a great slipcover. I love that, like kind of like Versus slipcover. That's really cool. And we have Child's Play with another cool slipcover, but it's also just like a cardboard piece. I think this is from Best Buy. It might be an exclusive. I don't really know. The Conjuring, which has that like little clap. Dude, that is a scary ass scene. A childhood favorite of mine, Cars. Not the best Pixar movie, I know that. But I have a special, it holds a special place in my heart, let's just say that. And we have Chef, which is Jon Favreau reuniting the Avengers. No, I'm just kidding. It's a great movie, and it'll make you so hungry. And we have Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained. Really enjoy this one. Haven't seen it in about 2 years or so. I'll rewatch it eventually. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, the only movie in the Planet of the Apes trilogy that I own, but I adore War for the Planet of the Apes. I gotta get that one eventually. But this is an excellent movie. Next to the 3-pack, we have The Departed, Goodfellas, and The Aviator. I have only seen The Departed. That's one of my favorites. The other two I have not seen. Goodfellas, maybe I'll do a reaction video on the channel one day. I need to watch that movie. Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds. I don't think this is the best thing ever, but it's a fun time. And Die Hard, which I don't feel like is a Christmas movie, but then again, I don't really want to watch it at any other time other than Christmas because of the Christmas theme. So I go back and forth on, is it really a Christmas movie? But it's an action movie, that I can tell you that. Then we have Batman Begins, and then that starts the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Begins, one of the best, probably like the actual worst in the trilogy in my opinion. The Dark Knight with this busted slipcover, which kind of always pisses me off. So yeah, if you can see that. I love this movie. It's in my top 5 of all time. And then The Dark Knight Rises, which is a movie that I love. I know a lot of people have a lot of issues with this movie. It's like number 3 for me in all the live action Batman movies. It is that good. It's one of my favorites as well, right next to The Dark Knight, but not in top 5 or anything. Despicable Me, and we actually have the sequel coming up. Here's a sequel. I don't own the 3rd movie. I haven't seen that since theaters, and I didn't remember liking it all too much. The Descendants, not Descendants, the Disney movie. This is a emotional movie, very well done. George Clooney, so talented. Dead Poets Society, another talent, Robin Williams, such a great actor, one of the best of all time, and this is one of his best performances too. Then you have Election in the Criterion Collection, a great underrated dark comedy that not enough people talk about. A movie I just saw in theaters, and that's E.T. the Extraterrestrial. I saw it in theaters in IMAX, very special experience. I actually have a video on the channel if you want to go check it out. I did a little review / vlog, so go check that out. Elf, one of the best Christmas movies. It's probably top 3 for me on Steelbook. And I'm Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Easy A. Emma Stone's kind of breakout performance. Another vastly underwatched movie. No one really saw this movie. End of Sentence came out in 2019/2020. Had a limited then wider release, I believe. Logan Lerman and John Hawkes. They are the 2 leads in this movie. Very emotional. I remember getting very swept up in it. Gotta recommend it. But it is an emotional watch, so just be prepared for that. Edge of Tomorrow, not Live, Die, Repeat. Edge of Tomorrow, it's the one title of the movie. Haven't seen this one in a while again. I'm going to say that a lot. But I remember it being a very fun action movie. And you have my favorite movie of all time, if this didn't give it away. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. Love it. Life moves by pretty fast, and I won't go on down that rabbit hole. But Free Guy on 4K, one of the biggest surprises of last year, 2021. I loved this movie, such a fun time. And then Finding Dory. I don't own Finding Nemo for whatever reason, but Finding Dory is good. Haven't seen it in probably 5+ years, but it's pretty good. The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. Watched this a couple months ago and really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen that one, highly recommend. Frozen, don't own Frozen 2. I don't remember really actually liking that movie all that much. Then we have Fast 5, which is the best Fast and the Furious movie, followed up with Fate of the Furious, which is a pretty good Fast and the Furious movie. I remember enjoying it. Funny People with Adam Sandler, Seth Rogen, and Leslie Mann. What a stacked lineup right there. I remember this movie being too long. Then we have Fast Times at Ridgemont High, another movie on the Criterion Collection. Definitely enjoyed this one. One of the better coming-of-age high school movies from the 80s. Might be even better than Dazed and Confused, in my opinion, of course. Another movie that I kind of blind bought and then watched it, and then I was like, this kind of sucks. 5 Year Engagement, but I loved the cast, and that's what drew me to it. I watched it, and I had a lot of issues with it. Alison Brie is incredibly miscast. She's doing a British accent for no apparent reason, and they could have just casted another actress. That was one of my bigger issues. I don't really remember what else I didn't like about it, though. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, still haven't opened it, but I remember enjoying it when I watched it a couple years ago. Friends with Benefits. We're going to talk about a movie that is very similar to this one a little bit later, and they're kind of neck and neck. They are so similar. They came out the same year. I'm sure if you are familiar with this movie, you know what I'm talking about, and I don't know which one's the better one, but I'll do a rewatch one day. Gone Girl, riveting movie. Need to rewatch this one too. David Fincher. It actually comes with the book that Rosamund Pike wrote in the movie, so that's pretty cool. David Fincher always has those cool kind of box sets. Godzilla, this is a dope movie. I think this is actually pretty badass. It's directed wonderfully by Gareth Edwards, and some of the cinematography in this is jaw-dropping. And then one of the follow-ups, Godzilla vs. Kong, I did not like that other Godzilla movie. We won't even talk about that one. But this one is an awesome fun time, and I bet it looks great on 4K, though I have not seen it in 4K yet. Good Will Hunting, that scene, if you know, you know. Oh, that'll rip your heart out. Game Night, such a superb comedy. It's kind of like a rom-com, but it's also a mystery movie. Great. Oh, Garden State, I adore this movie. I watched it for the first time this year and immediately fell in love. Natalie Portman is terrific. Love her. Another movie I don't really know why I own, G.I. Joe Retaliation. This is like the extended cut. I guess you could classify it as a guilty pleasure because it is pretty bad, but I don't know if I'm ever going to rewatch it. Then again, The Gift, a damn near chill-inducing thriller. Highly recommend this one. Not enough people talk about it today. Joel Edgerton is a damn triple threat. Wrote, directed, stars in this movie. Wow. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Don't own the first one. I'll probably get it one day. There's a lot of mixed thoughts on the internet for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I haven't seen in a while to really give my thoughts on it. When I do a big MCU rewatch, which I plan on doing one day, then I'll give my thoughts. Get Out, one of the best modern horror thrillers of the 21st century. Damn great movie. The Goonies. Love this one. Ghostbusters, a little maybe overrated. I wouldn't throw that word. Like, it's good. I know a lot of people love it, but I feel like the people that love it grew up on it. I did not grow up on it. That's why I don't think I love it. Home Alone on 4K, the best Christmas movie, without a doubt. I feel confident in saying that. Yes, I love this movie. The Hunger Games, only in the first one. I got this as a gift, and so it was free. I will probably watch all the movies when that new one comes out, I believe next year. Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. It's a funny comedy. It's a very short movie too. The stoner vibes, that's really funny. Neil Patrick Harris, he's so funny. The Hangover, one of my favorite comedies. Love this one. Toodaloo, motherfucker. Love that movie. How to Train Your Dragon, the trilogy with 1, 2, and 3, The Hidden World. I've only seen 1 and 2. I wanted to rewatch these movies at the beginning of this year. I never got around to it, though. I know a lot of people claim this as to be like one of the best trilogies ever, and I love DreamWorks Animation if you didn't know about that, so. And then Inglourious Basterds, one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Tarantino movie. In the Heights, if not the best musical of 2021, right next to West Side Story. And if there's another one I'm missing, I'm sorry. Interstellar, Christopher Nolan's damn near masterpiece. Oh, that's such an emotional movie. The Interview, a movie that almost got us into a war. And this is a funny one. Iron Man, the one that started it all. And this is an old Blu-ray. This Blu-ray has seen better days, but it's an influential movie for all the best reasons. And then we have the Inspirational 4-movie collection, which has Field of Dreams, Seabiscuit, Friday Night Lights, and Cinderella Man. I've only seen Field of Dreams, but Cinderella Man, that's one that's on my watch list, and Friday Night Lights, Seabiscuit. I'll obviously watch them too, one day. The Jungle Book from Jon Favreau, the better of his live-action remakes. We don't talk about The Lion King. Joker. Oh, I'm interested to see what they do with the sequel. That could be pretty special. Jaws, one of the best movies of all time. Not one of my particular favorites, but it's one of the best for a reason. Jungle Cruise, this Target exclusive kind of artwork edition. I had a fun time with this one. I think it's kind of a blast. The Karate Kid, one of my favorites. Cobra Kai, wax on, wax off. Oh, so good. And the Kingsman 2-movie collection. Golden Circle, which is the second one, and The Secret Service. This one is better than this one. Haven't seen The King's Man. I was going to do a rewatch of all these movies, but didn't get around to it. Knives Out, can't wait for the sequel. Glass Onion. I was a big fan of this one of the best movies of 2019 for sure. Knocked Up. This is a really funny comedy. Very heartwarming and sweet too. And this is, if not my favorite steelbook that I own, the La La Land steelbook, which I'll just show you real quick. I mean, come on, look at that. This is a work of art. The Lego Movie in 3D. I don't own a Blu-ray 3D player, but this one was a pretty big surprise. The Lego Batman movie, another surprise. The fact that it took the Lego Batman movie to really dive deep into Batman's psyche and his emotions and his feelings, like there's some deep stuff in this. Speaking of deep stuff, Lars and the Real Girl. One of the more underappreciated rom-coms of the 2010s, Long Shot. This one came out in 2019, and because 2019 was such a big year for movies in general, it's like one of the best years for movies ever. This one kind of got swept under the rug, I feel, but if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend. Logan, one of the 3 Wolverine movies, and this is probably the best one. Such an emotional journey, and what they did with Hugh Jackman's character, that's impressive. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. When Tom Cruise scaled that tower, wow. And then Mission Impossible Fallout, which they somehow managed to top Ghost Protocol, because that was a great action movie. This is one of the best action movies of probably the last 25 years, honestly, maybe of all time. The Men in Black trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. Memories of Murder, Bong Joon-ho's other movie besides Parasite. These are the 2 movies of his that I've seen. This is a riveting crime, drama, thriller. Damn, I was impressed by that one. And Minions, a movie that I tried to sell off, but if it just goes to show you the quality of the movie, they wouldn't take it. So there's that. My Neighbor Totoro, one of the few Studio Ghibli movies I own. I think this actually might be the only one. Apologies, one of my lights was giving me a hard time, so I decided to turn it off. Then we have Miracle on 34th Street, one of the oldest movies I believe I've seen. We're next to like 12 Angry Men and First Frankenstein. Man of Steel, we need a second one. Monsters University, the sequel to Monsters Inc., or actually the prequel to Monsters Inc., and it's maybe a little overhated. I enjoyed it. Minari, one of 2020's best movies. Alan Kim is such a great child actor. What a star, and I can't wait to see him in more stuff too. The Night Before, one of my favorite movies I like to rewatch during the Christmas season. It's a fun time. It's hilarious. Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, a childhood favorite of mine. Another movie featuring Robin Williams, Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Amy Adams. It's a stacked cast. It's a great family kids movie. Definitely recommend it. The Nice Guys, are Private Dicks is what it says right here. This is hilarious. Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe make a great duo. And we should have gotten a sequel to this one, but this movie did not make enough money. Go watch it. No Strings Attached. Remember how I was mentioning Friends with Benefits, and there was a movie that was very similar to it? Came out the same year. The connections that these 2 movies have with one another, it's crazy. Same pretty much story. 2 friends, they want to get in a relationship with one another, but they don't want to be really attached. They just want to do it for the benefits, we'll just call it that. So this one has Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher. That one has Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are married. Natalie Portman and Justin Timberlake aren't, though. It came out in the same year, and it's the battle of the 2 rom-coms. Which one do I think is the better one? I might have to go with this one because I was so swept up in it. I mentioned that I love Natalie Portman. Ashton Kutcher's great as well. The entire supporting cast, too. It's directed by Ivan Reitman, the guy who brought us Ghostbusters, which feels really crazy to say. I don't know, I'm spending a lot of time talking about this movie, but I love it. And if you want to watch it, don't go in expecting much, and maybe you will love it like I did. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on 4K, in contention for my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, right next to Inglourious Basterds probably. But all of his movies are some of the best ever, so it's really hard to choose. Open Season, another childhood favorite of mine. I was going to call it a childhood classic, but it's really not a classic. This is a movie that I have a soft spot for. Haven't rewatched it in a while. Probably doesn't hold up, but I own it just for the pure fact of I used to love it. And then we have 2 movies that are attached. The Other Guys with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, a hilarious comedy. I've said hilarious a couple times in this little pile, but this is an incredibly funny movie. One of the best movies that borderline is almost rated R, but it stays in that PG-13 realm. It does great with the premise, and it just brings all the laughs. And the movie that it was attached to, a movie probably much better than it though, but still a good movie, Parasite. One of the best movies I've probably ever seen. I know that's a big statement, but I still do feel that way. It is a masterpiece. I feel confident in saying that. It's one of my favorites of all time. Speaking of favorites of all time, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. As soon as I saw this movie, I immediately fell in love. It's a shame that Ezra Miller is having a hard time right now because they are such a talent, and I hope that they get the help that they need and they deserve. I really hope we get to see that Flash movie one day. And Logan Lerman, one of the most underrated actors working today, he proves that in this movie. Emma Watson too. I could gush about that movie all day. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, another one of my favorites. John Candy and Steve Martin, what a duo. John Candy, may he rest in peace. He is such a talent, gone way too soon. And Steve Martin, this is one of my personal favorite performances of his. I don't love him, but here is where he kind of wins me over a little bit. Patriots Day, an incredibly hard movie to watch. I remember just watching this and having to look away because it is so raw and real and intense. You feel the weight of Mark Wahlberg's character in this movie, but might be a one-time watch. It's not the one that you want to go like rewatch just out of the blue, but still, it didn't get enough appreciation, I feel. Pitch Perfect, another one of my favorite movies. This movie has its 10-year anniversary coming up soon. I know it's coming back to theaters. I probably won't see it in theaters, but this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I do feel a little guilty saying I love it, but again, it's one of my favorites, like I've said. I'm a sucker for acapella. What can I say? Point Break, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze, again, gone too soon, but this is a great romance action movie, action thriller. Detective Pikachu, I got this movie for free because there was like a buy two get one free. I believe I bought Blinded by the Light and another movie that we're going to talk about in a second, and then this one I got for free, and you know, it's whatever, it's fine. Promising Young Woman, my favorite movie of 2020. This one blew me by surprise, and even though the slipcover is not the greatest and it's actually in pretty bad condition, unfortunately, I got it from Amazon, and can you believe this is what they give me? Come on. But such an awesome movie. And this is the other movie I was talking about just recently, The Peanut Butter Falcon. It was this and Blinded by the Light that I bought. Then I got Detective Pikachu for free, and another heartwarming movie, Dakota Johnson and Shia LaBeouf and Zach Gottsagen, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is a star, very talented young actor. Predator, Get to the Chopper. The Prestige, Christopher Nolan's one of more of his underrated movies. Another one of my favorites. This stack has some of my favorites. I don't know what it is. A Quiet Place. Probably top 5 horror thriller of all time for me, what John Krasinski did. It's a movie that I would want to make one day, let's just say that. And then the follow-up, A Quiet Place Part 2, which I don't think is better than that one, though I think some people do feel that it is better than the first one. It is still a fantastic follow-up. Rudy. Haven't seen this one in a while, but it's one of my dad's favorites. And I remember it being an inspirational sports movie. And then Rocket Man, the biopic of Elton John, probably the better biopic, and when comparing it to, let's say, Elvis and Bohemian Rhapsody, might be my favorite and might be the best out of the three, but this one is a little fantasy. It feels new. It feels like something unlike you've really ever seen in terms of the biopic genre, and Taron Egerton was snubbed of an Oscar nomination. Raya and the Last Dragon, a stunningly animated movie, one of the best animated movies that I've ever seen in terms of visuals. I don't think it's the best thing ever in terms of story or movie. Remember the Titans, A Simple Favor, which we're actually getting a sequel to, and I am not opposed to that. The Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi's trilogy of Spider-Man 1, one of my favorite comic book movies in general, Spider-Man 2, and then Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 2 is a little overrated. I know some people think it's even better than Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man is still my favorite, and then Spider-Man 3 is The Amazing Spider-Man, and then The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This movie is overhated. I bawled my eyes out at that ending. I don't even want to talk about it. Spider-Man Homecoming, it's fun. I don't love it though. Then a movie that I do kind of love, Spider-Man Far From Home, in this awesome steelbook as well with some great artwork. It's not perfect, but it's still a blast. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think this is probably one of the biggest movies that subverted everyone's expectations. I didn't think really anyone thought this was going to be all the best, but it is pretty damn good. Star Wars The Force Awakens, the only Star Wars movie I own as of right now. I obviously plan on getting probably the OG trilogy. I'm not a big fan of the newest ones, but I don't talk much Star Wars on my channel, but this is one of my more favorite Star Wars movies. Skyfall, probably my favorite James Bond movie. Spotlight. Shazam, we're getting a sequel to this movie later this year, and can't wait to see that. Speed, an intense thriller. Silver Linings Playbook, all around so good. Scream, one of my favorite horror movies too. It's just so much fun. The Suicide Squad, probably my favorite movie of 2021. It's between this and Coda, which unfortunately doesn't have a Blu-ray release in the States at least. But I was excited for this movie. Talk about blowing me away. Another one of my favorites, School of Rock. God, Jack Black as Dewey Finn, that is perfect casting. Spaceballs, I got this movie from my aunt and uncle. They gave it to me for free, so I'm not going to pass down a Blu-ray. And I don't love this movie, but it's a fun spoof. It's The Social Network, which you can't really tell that it even is The Social Network until you look at this. It's a so good. Split with James McAvoy. That probably my favorite M. Night movie. I know, even better than Unbreakable, I feel. Shawshank Redemption. I think this is in the IMDb top 10 of all time, and it is so good. The scene with their friend that unfortunately dies about an hour and a half into the movie. I believe his name is Brooks, this guy right here. That tore me in two. So depressing. 7, Insomnia, and The Devil's Advocate. Only seen 7, but 7 is one of my favorites, and I gotta watch Insomnia because that is Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank. Plus, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. I mean, come on, that sounds very good. Searching with John Cho. This is an intense movie, chilling almost at times. I love it. And then the Steven Spielberg Director's Collection, which has Duel, it has The Sugarland Express, Jaws, 1941, E.T., which I already own, and Jaws I already own too. Always, Jurassic Park, and The Lost World, Jurassic Park. If I had to choose a favorite, it might be Jurassic Park or E.T. or Jaws. But Steven Spielberg is obviously one of the best directors of all time. I haven't seen enough of his filmography, but owning this box set will hopefully make me get into more of his filmography one day. Star Trek from 2009. The Sandlot. It's an essential summer movie. The Shrek 4 movie collection, not including Puss in Boots. It has obviously 1, 2, Shrek the Third, and Shrek Forever After. Looking forward to rewatching these movies before the new Puss in Boots movie and doing a ranking. Three Amigos, another movie I haven't seen in a while. Then we have arguably the most iconic quadrilogy of all time. It was a trilogy at one point in time. Toy Story 1, that one's on Steelbook. So is this one, Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3, which I don't own on Steelbook because this is the last remaining kind of jewel that I have from Blockbuster. I got this movie when it first came out at Blockbuster. I pre-ordered it and everything. So this Blu-ray holds a special place in my heart. And then Toy Story 4 with just 4K. They didn't do the same style as the first two Steelbooks, so I stuck with the slip. And it's not the best, but it's still pretty good. Then we have 2 Disney movies and not a Disney movie. Tangled, better than Frozen. I mean, come on. This movie, I love that one. Turning Red, one of the better animated movies from this year. It's kind of hard to see, but there's the Target exclusive kind of artwork. And I'm probably going to rewatch it before the end of the year. But it's another good Pixar movie. And then the movie that I said was nothing like a Disney movie, Ted 2, which if I'm remembering correctly, is better than Ted 1, in my opinion at least. I remember liking it more than Ted 1. I remember there's this one subplot with this guy trying to capture Ted that I absolutely hated in both these movies. But I remember Ted 2 being better than Ted 1. Christopher Nolan's hard-to-hear movie, Tenet. Tomorrowland, a movie that kind of just got swept under the rug and no one talks about at all today, and I feel like that's for good reason because this is ultimately forgettable. I don't even know when I'll ever rewatch it, to be honest with you. The Town on 4K, riveting thriller, riveting. Ben Affleck, so good. That Thing You Do, a completely underrated musical comedy from Tom Hanks. He wrote, directed, and stars in it. He's right here. He plays the manager of this band, and that's all I'll say. It's such a feel-good movie, and that song, That Thing You Do, will be stuck in your head for a while. I saw it on my playlist. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live-action movie from 2014. This is like the Target exclusive slipcover, and it's Donatello. I remember not thinking it was all too bad, but I haven't seen it in a while. Train to Busan, don't have the second one, but Train to Busan, the first one, it is emotional. It's a great horror movie. It checks off all the boxes, let's just say that. Up in the Air, I was pretty blown away by this one too when I watched it. I believe earlier this year as well. And George Clooney, he's just so talented, man. V for Vendetta, another movie that has Natalie Portman in it. This is the one where she shaved her head for the role, and I remember it being a good political thriller. Whiplash, ooh, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I'm so mad at myself for not rewatching it more. I mean, J.K. Simmons won the Oscar for his performance here. One of the best supporting actor performances. One of the best movies of the 2010s, though. Wreck-It Ralph on 4K. Don't own that sequel because I remember it being very disappointing. And one of the other Logan movies that I own are Wolverine. The Wolverine. Do not own X-Men Origins Wolverine because that's kind of shit. And we've made it to just about the end, but here's the final stack. And When Harry Met Sally. Probably the best rom-com of all time. the X-Men Beginnings trilogy, which has First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse, all in 4K. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of the X-Men just franchise in general, and I love a lot of these movies. First Class, I love that one. Yesterday, a movie about the Beatles and what if they never existed. It's a pretty interesting idea, and I feel like they did a good job with this one. And we have Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm very happy that Zack Snyder got to put his vision out there and finally get the movie made that he wanted to be seen for everyone in the first place. We don't talk about the other movie though. And Zootopia. And then the final movie, aside from this stack, which I'll talk about in a second, Zombieland. Alright, so this next little stack right here is movies in my collection that I haven't seen yet. So these are movies that I obviously own, haven't seen yet, maybe got them as gifts or bought them for whatever reason, just haven't watched them. But let's get going with this. Army of Darkness, a Sam Raimi movie in the Evil Dead franchise. I haven't seen this one. I have only seen The Evil Dead. I'll probably watch them if there's another new movie coming out in the next couple of years. Blazing Saddles, a controversial comedy, I'm pretty sure. Hitch from Will Smith. The Italian Job, I've heard good things about that one. The John Wick 3-movie collection on Steelbook in 4K. I'll watch these movies when the new one comes out, and I believe in the next couple months actually. Probably mid next year, I believe. A Knight's Tale, a movie with Heath Ledger that I'm pretty sure I got for pretty cheap. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., still haven't seen it. It has Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill in it, and I've heard good things. Mad Max Fury Road, I know, haven't seen it. Patton, a movie that I know really little to nothing about, except I'm pretty sure it's a war movie because of the cover. Raging Bull, a Scorsese movie, haven't seen it. Titanic, a 3-hour plus long epic that I know Jason Carr, I'll watch it one day. Vice, the movie with Christian Bale, it has Amy Adams, Steve Carell, Sam Rockwell. That's a stacked cast, and I'm pretty sure it was like a buy 3 going free deal, and I just got this one. The Wolf of Wall Street. Yep, still haven't seen it. I gotta watch that one day. And then we have Everyday Heroes, which has Apollo 13, Backdraft, Aaron Brockovich, and Lone Survivor. I've seen a good chunk of Apollo 13. The rest of them I've seen nothing of. I've obviously heard of all of them, and I own him. And one day I'll get into them. And I don't really know why they were all alphabetical except for this one. Scarface on Steelbook. Say hello to my little friend. That's all I know. And guys, that about does it for my entire Blu-ray collection video. If you stuck around to the very end, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you loved it, consider subscribing to the channel because I love talking movies and TV, all sorts of good stuff. Hit that like button as well and hit that notification bell to get notified whenever new videos like this go live. And just make sure to comment down below. Are there any movies that you think I should watch, pick up? Let me know down below. As always, look forward to more videos coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Muter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.